People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in. As usual, I hope you and your loved ones are all well and safe. So, according to what time zone you're in, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let me just crack on with briefly what I want to speak about. I want to touch on some Julian Leron's comments on Saliba, and I want to touch on something in relation to Alex Son. Firstly, let's talk about Saliba. Julian Leron has said he is in the mould of Varane. I think it was the right thing to do for him and for Arsenal to leave him another year in France at Saint Etienne, for him then to come back this summer to Arsenal, having gained a maturity from his season in Liga. He had to come back from his injury and work really hard to come back to his level, so I think that will help him. And also because this year was very much a transitional year for Arsenal, not that he knew that last summer, but it became a transitional year. Not that he knew that last summer, but it became a transitional year with Arteta. And now, obviously, I'm not getting at Julian Leron's. I don't disagree with anything he said there. I do see similarities with Varane. I think they're completely different. I think Varane has a slightly, I think Varane, it's fair to say, is substantially quicker, at least from what I've seen, than Saliba. I don't think Saliba is slow, but if I look at Saliba, there are very, when you see the Varane comments, when you hear 6'4" composed, when you see all the French defenders coming around, people look at it, people that don't necessarily care for development and stuff, look at that and want him to immediately be that, or they get so caught up on the man of tomorrow. Again, and I say this, and it must sound like a broken record, they forget about what the man is right now. Like Julian Leron's pointed out, I wanted him to come this season. I thought it would have been beneficial for him to come now, I'm not saying necessarily start and get thrown into the wolves, because there was no defensive structure, there wasn't a lot of these things. I have more confidence of him hitting the ground running under Arteta because there's less madness. And what I mean by that is it's completely different, but Koscielny. Now, Koscielny at one point, other fans can disagree, he was one of the best defenders in world football at a period in his Arsenal career. And he was shining defensively for Arsenal. He weren't shining in the sense of Arsenal are great in terms of our system or our outlook on defending. But Koscielny's looking good because there's fires and hazards going on all over the pitch. And he's being a fireman on the football field, just putting fires out. And he's shining because, he's going out fighting where we're just crumbling sort of thing. I want our defenders to shine in a structure where we're defending from the first line, which is the strikers, or we're attacking from the first line of attack, which is our centre-halves. Collectively, we're defending, but obviously our centre-halves are showing their qualities. I think that's something there for Saliba. I think whilst people need to I think it would have been beneficial him coming another year, but I get him staying away from the spotlight. People fail to understand this is his second year as a professional footballer, and it's been cut short, and it's been a testing one, really and truly. It's been a mixed one for Saint Etienne. They've got to a cup final, but results haven't always gone their way. I think he's shined. He's shown he's very good defensively, but there are some aspects he needs to learn from. In the semi-finals of the cup, he wasn't good. I'm sure he gave away a penalty. Against Bordeaux, he was flat-footed. Against Metz, for the goal, and he was looking to the ref where you have to play to the whistle. Against Metz, Diallo, 24-year-old striker, stronger than him, quicker than him. There was nothing Saliba could do. I'm not getting at Saliba. I'm just highlighting that this man is still learning, and you need him to go through these moments. He's going to have to learn some harsh lessons in the Prem, so we're going to have to stay with him, people. This is his second year as a professional footballer. He's only 19. There's going to be times he's going to try to play a pass. It's going to get intercepted. His positioning, he's going to be too high up the field. He's going to get outpaced or outstripped. He's too deep, and he's not aware of his runners and things like that. There's going to be times he just has a clanger. He just gets bullied at set pieces because he's going against some different strikers and different attackers, people. When we'll have to see how he does it. When I think he does well when pulled out wide into 1v1 situations. But no disrespect to the French league, it's fun and games doing that against Bordeaux, for example. Then against someone like Mane as a centre half, where you've seen him have harsh lessons. There's target men, there's poachers, there's people that you don't see for 90 minutes and they're on the last shoulder. There are some lessons he'd have to learn. For me, I'm very encouraged with Saliba. I do think he need, from just as a fan watching him, I think he's very composed. I like his confidence. I like how he doesn't seem fazed by anything. I like his calmness on the ball. I actually like his reading of the game and his positioning. His positioning just needs little tweaks and he can be perfect. I do think he needs to improve when he's defending on the turn. I do think at times he is caught flat-footed, and I do think, just as a fan, maybe his agility is something that can improve because he isn't the quickest on the turn, people. But there is a lot of potential with that man. Next season, I still want another centre half. So for next season, it would be this new centre half, Saliba and David Luiz. Right now, David Luiz would be the first choice, and either Saliba or this new centre half. Apologies, or if someone else earns their shirt, they play. And like I said, I'm encouraged with, obviously Saliba's season's been cut short, and it sucks because he made a cup final with his team, first real milestone of his career in terms of trying to win trophies. It is quite sad for him. I think he's got the temperament to make it here. You look at the way he carries on for St Etienne in their derby games. Playing for Arsenal is nothing in that sense stretch. But we've got to stand by him. I've got confidence in Arteta more so than if he came under Emery, because there wasn't really a structure. You didn't really see what Emery wants to do. You can see what Arteta wants to do. So I think the player will thrive. And one thing that is of benefit is that he's not eligible to play if the season gets going again, but he's eligible to train. Obviously, hopefully, and I don't know how much he'll be allowed to be around the Emirates because London Coley and whatnot, because of social distancing and these things. But the quicker we get him in our way of playing and things, it's good. I think Saliba's going to be a very good player, but we need to stand by him. He's 19. He'll be 19 when he comes here, sorry. He's not in his prime. I'm not saying constructive criticism should always be there. He's played a fairly amount of games now to know what he's doing right and wrong, but you still have to learn. You still got to learn. So when I see comments like Varane and stuff like that next Varane, of course it excites me as a fan, but I'm very wary because most fans are not going to give players time. It's like it's different. But Reece Nelson, people proclaimed he's the best talent since Jack Wilshere. His time at Hoffenheim, he was actually having some games where he played well but didn't score assists. Some games he didn't play that well but he scored an assist. But people were clipping up 30-second clips, seeing the little mad thing he done for Hoffenheim, not watching the whole game, and drawing conclusions, and are shocked that he's not over Mars or one of these sort of men right now. He will get there one day. I'm not saying he's going to be over Mars level. What I mean is that I think he can develop and become more of an important player for Arsenal. But my point is, people don't lack patience, people lack understanding, people just don't simply understand what's happening half the time. So yeah, we need to let him develop. And when I saw them Varane comments, it was of interest to me in that instance. Moving away from that, and a quick one on Alex Song. He said in relation to his Barcelona move, when Barcelona offered me a contract and I saw how much I would earn, I didn't think twice. I met Barca's sporting director. He told me I would not get to play many games, but I didn't give a fuck. Pardon my language, that's what he said. I knew now that I would become a millionaire. Most footballers live beyond their means. I was at Arsenal for 8 years, but only began to earn good money in the last 4. That was because my salary went up a lot. But it also came because I realised what a waster I was. And to be fair, the second paragraph, again, is completely different. But you look at Zaha's comments on Insta Live, obviously a lot of footballers come from, sad to say, but third world countries where poverty is a real issue. And they come from poverty in a different sense in the UK or of the descendants of people that are trying to better their lives. So when you put a lot of money in people's hands or stuff, sometimes it's not that they're greedy or splashing. They don't know how to act because they couldn't conceive this before. I remember seeing Zaha, he said, on the Insta Live, he bought a Lamborghini outright at Manchester United and he barely saved his money. Obviously, he was a young man now. He's been fortunate enough to still be a household name in the Prem, still, be able to make the racks back and things. But it's all about financial literacy, people. I think many footballers, they're told this, they know of the importance, but they don't pull it into practice. And I think a lot of it comes down to mindset. I'm not saying every footballer has to be a businessman and things, but if from a young age, if you was to get, these Joe Willocks, these Billy Gilmores, these sort of guys that are on the cusp of the first team, like if you're them or you're LaMarcus Rashfords, these, and again, they'll never teach this in school, but teach investing, teach that, okay, you're a young footballer, but you could put your money into some shares, into some trust funds, you could even open up a calf, open up these little things that gets your mind thinking of how to make money, produces a little income from you, the profits that it makes, you go and stack that away, and you keep doing things. And then obviously you can still do football, you can have people that manage these businesses, and again, and what I mean by being educated, because saying invest is one thing, but they need to, there's a lot of rogue investors. People see footballers as a lot of money, so they should preach to do their due diligence, because it would change the thinking. If they thought like businessmen or from business or from a business proposition all the time and considered themselves as business, they would be less flashy. Of course, I'm not buy flashy stuff. I like buying flashy stuff, but make sure you got bread for when the football career thing is done, sort of thing. I can't begrudge Alex Son for wanting to make that move, people. And look, obviously he's a money grabber, he's all of these things. But, you know, you can't turn down Barcelona and you can't turn down money. Obviously, a bit of that, his song, you know, wasn't the best of footballers for a long time at Arsenal. And I do think people look at Alex Song's career at Arsenal with rose tints and make him better than he is. But he had, you know, he went to Charlton. He had a couple of years he weren't involved, and then he had an emergence. And naturally, like life, the better you become at something, the more money you can command, or better wages you can command. And you know, he made himself a millionaire. Of course, I'm sure if he had his time again, he might think from different circumstances. Admittedly, I wouldn't be saying this at the time, but with times comes a healer. I understand making the move, because at the end of the day, you wanted to better your financial situation, and pardon me, and I can't begrudge you for that. And he also made some comments in relation to, and I think it's a problem with football, a thing that puts players under pressure, because he mentioned some, not that Henry was pressuring him, but it was in relation to Henry and his car, and that's how it all starts, people. It's not that necessarily people want to buy these things. And on one hand, this is where you have to be strong-minded. Like, you look at someone like Kante, earning mad money, he's driving bangers, people, cars that we can afford. He doesn't really care. It's easy for us to say bangers, but he's stacking his piece, sort of thing. This is where and you've got to be strong enough to air it and say, ah, cool, I don't care about that. But this peer pressure is a big thing, or when you're involved in the team. You know, it starts off with the bag. Everyone's got the Louis Vuitton bag, you're coming with your night thing. Everyone's looking at you a bit funny, or you're thinking yourself, oh, I want to fit in. You know, you're coming with your calm car, you know, your calm Ford Focus. You're seeing Ferraris in that. So if you've got the contract which will give you the finances to go and take that, take out, I don't know, I would like to think, you know, take out a rental, or, you know, take out some sort of finance package rather than buy it outright just because you can. You're going to go and do that because it's a fitting in thing. It's a levels thing, sort of thing. Nobody wants to be, it's like life. Nobody wants to be the person that people are laughing at. You know, in school, no one wanted to be the person you're laughing at. No one wants to, out on the street, no one wants to be laughed at. Nobody wants to be laughed at. And footballers aren't the same. Are the same, sorry. So it does make me think. It does make me think a lot in relation to. It does make me think a lot in relation to peer pressure and stuff. And obviously you've got to be strong-minded. But I understand it, people. It's probably as I've got older, I've understood, like, you know what, you can't really begrudge players for making moves in relation to money, sort of thing, people. But that's all I wanted to say. I've got nothing more to add. On that note, people, deluded. I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking.